Welcome back to ATL Day Ones. I'm Tenitra. That is Jarvis. And you guys are our family who rocks with us each and every day. We appreciate you for that because you guys continue to download us everywhere that you get your podcast. You continue to give us 5-star reviews, and we appreciate it. And also, you guys are continuing to keep us up and up and up, trending up, or Locked On Sports Atlanta with over 3,100 subscribers on YouTube. So keep that coming as well. And you know what we like to see keep coming? It doesn't necessarily have to be a dub all the time in preseason, but we like to see progress. That's what Jarvis and I talked about on the Monday show. What do we want to see in terms of incremental progress from game one, or even if what we saw in the joint practices? Were there some subtle resets from what we saw from the Falcons in those joint practices with the Jets that maybe could benefit or result in something that actually calculated or translated to the field in game day action Monday night? So again, we do know, yes, the Falcons fell 24-16 to the Jets in game two of the preseason, but there were still some good takeaways. And so with so much to get to, we'll probably do this a little bit more rapid fire style because we know there's a lot to kind of dig into and want to kind of touch on each and everything. Now, we'll start high level. General observations from you, Jarvis, on game two of the preseason.
One of the things that really stood out to me was the sequence, like I really
Mhm.
understand what Arthur Smith is trying to do on offense. He wants to be able to establish the
Mhm.
run game, and he wants to be
Yes.
able to make passes and get his quarterback on the move outside the pocket, so he has some quick and
Mhm.
easy reads. Once they start rolling out on get to the edge of the defense, or they can go to play action and sit back in the pocket and do the whole 5 to 7 step drops or what have you. And I
Yes.
think it's simple, right? And he wants to make the offense as simple as possible as far as whoever is up under center. And I think that
Mhm.
that looked like it was easy last night, like literally. And I think that I know that people want to make things about what it is just from how defense coordinator handles preseason. They
Mhm.
run very vanilla defense, but
Yeah.
I get that part of it. I understand. However, like when you're not used to executing on
Mhm.
offense and not being able to do the thing that you want to do
Mhm.
offensively from a scheme standpoint, then you take advantage of those particular situations. And I think Arthur Smith did that from time to time, and that's why you saw Marcus Mariota comfortable. Some times where he may or may not have overthrew somebody or underthrew Kyle
Right.
Pitts, So, but I think that overall, I think
Mhm.
that I understand what Arthur Smith's trying to do, and it looks really good when he is able to call plays accordingly, so the
Mhm.
offense can go out there and execute.
Yeah, I would agree as well. That was one of my general takeaways on a positive note from the game
Yeah.
last night as well. And just to add to that, I thought that it was very interesting and actually very critical for Arthur Smith also to be just having some different, some varied, and some lengthy counts, if you will, so as
Yes.
to throw the
Yes.
Jets defense off, and that seemed to work as well. And you saw some rollouts, but you didn't see Mariota or definitely Desmond Ritter take off nearly as much as they did last week. So also we saw some patience, and I do think that was had a lot to do with Arthur Smith and his coaching and his scheming to say, hey, let's be patient, and if the O line does what we said we wanted it to do, which was own the line of scrimmage, if they give you the time, go ahead. And even if you've got to scramble a little bit, if they're giving you some lanes, go ahead and take those lanes and throw down the field and get that ball going. So, like you said, you did see some progress in the run game. Arthur Smith stayed committed to it regardless, but I really did like what I saw from the passing game and the way he called the game yesterday. Now, what was your biggest positive and biggest negative takeaway from last night's game?
I think the biggest positive for me, it would have to be what I saw from Drew Dalman, because I think that's something that I've been very vocal about how I feel about Drew
Mm-hmm.
Dalman, but I thought he did a solid job last night. He and when you think about because when you think about offensive linemen, you watching games, a lot of times most people don't really know when they mess up
Mm-hmm.
or even when they're doing well sometimes, because they
Right.
don't the broadcasters don't call their names unless what
Mm-hmm.
they get a holding call
Yep.
or somebody they just get beat so badly where it's just so obvious and the broadcaster calls it out, or you can see it for yourself. So
Right.
I think that for him not to get his name called, for him not to fumble snaps, for him
Mhm.
to to be able to stay in front of people or get to the second level from time to time. He had a little issue struggling to get to that next level in one particular play where Kadri
Hmm.
Ollison was running the rock, and if he had made it, he probably would have broke it off for a big run. But I think outside of that, I just think for him to be able to say, "Hey, man, I'm still in this competition." I still think it's over, but it's good to see him, be able to start the game and come
Hmm.
off with a solid game like that.
Indeed. And what about your negative takeaway from last night?
Oh man, Troy Anderson was just there. Like, I mean, he made a couple tackles, and I'm just like, I'm still waiting to see the metrics, right? The measurables, like
Yeah.
all of these measurables that I've been told that he's been doing. Oh my God, he's great. Yeah, like, can I see it on the field? That's
Yeah.
why he was out there, and the only reason I knew he was out there is because he made a tackle 4 to 5 yards
Mhm.
downfield, and y'all know, if y'all don't know, I don't
Mhm.
care for linebackers making tackles 4 to 5 yards downfield. Sorry. Yeah, that's whatever. Like, I want them tackling the backfield or sacking the quarterback or picking the ball off. That's what I like linebackers to do.
Yeah, and something else that you like, and this is actually on the positive note, and something that has shown itself to be great is betonline.net.
No doubt about it. Because when you think about BetOnline.net, is the fastest, is easiest way you can check in on all your betting needs, find all your favorite sports and events at the #1 online source for odds, lines, and games. Because guess what, y'all? Football season is here. You
Yes.
can bet on the preseason games. You can go get the over/under. You can go see whether or not the Falcons are favored or not against all the Super Bowl contenders, because they've been facing a number of Super Bowl contenders in the preseason. Because that's just, I don't know why that's the case. I didn't make the schedule. Who Arthur Smith didn't make the schedule, but that's just what it is. Like, everybody they play against a Super Bowl contender. So we'll work on that. But I think that if you can figure out, if you want to get some information about where you need to go, whether or not you need to bet with the Falcons, or you need to take the under, or you need to take the over, or if the Falcons aren't the favorite, hey man, go ahead and risk a little money. You can get a little bit more change, because guess what? Bet Online continues to be the online source for all your sports wagering information, from live in-game betting, scores, and podcasts. They got you all covered. Now head to Bet Online today, or use your mobile device to learn more about the action happening today, because Bet Online is where the game starts.
Yes, it does start there. And also, I think where the game starts, and again, this is on a positive note, is when we see good play out of the likes of Ade Ogundeji. So I was
Yes.
excited about his play last night, but also let me give a shout out to the D line. Now, of course, I'm talking about our ones, right? I'm
Yes.
talking
Yeah,
about
no
an
doubt. Yeah.
Anthony Rush, a
Yeah.
Grady Jarrett, and Quan Grant. Let me qualify that, because I want to say, like Arthur Smith, we apologize for the play in the second half. But the first half play, especially from the D line, was pretty impressive last night. So that was definitely my positive. My negative, and I'm going to use it loosely, my negative was the run game, but not so much in terms of the lack of commitment, because I do appreciate Arthur
Right.
Smith's commitment to the run game. I just wanted to see a little bit more from that overall group. Now, I thought Damian Williams showed up a little bit better last night, but ultimately, my goal was to get to 100 yards without any yards accredited to
To your
QB1 or
quarterback.
QB2. Didn't quite get there, got around 74 yards. So that was a little bit of a negative there. But listen, this is also that cut down day. So we went from 90 to 85 last week. Now we're going from 85 to 80 today. So my question to you on both sides of the pink slip day is this: did anyone save himself from a pink slip today, or did anyone get themselves in a pink slip situation who was on the bubble and it's like, thanks for your services?
I think Geronimo Allison is in the latter, right? I think he's a guy that I thought that was on the bubble, because you look at the usage, right? You
Mhm.
don't necessarily have to really guess blindly guess what player is going to be, is going to get cut. And I think that I throw another one. I know we're supposed to get somebody who saved themselves, but I got two guys that I think that
Okay.
I think it's about to go down. Geronimo
Yeah.
Allison and I think Alden Tate are two guys that haven't really just done anything to
Yes.
stand out. And I think that when you see guys like Alameda Zacchaeus, you see Cardell Hodge out there making plays. Shout out to
Hmm.
HBCU, Prairie View A&M, represent all that good stuff. And Quentin Bell as well. Both of those guys
Hmm.
out there doing their thing. So I think when you have guys out there making a name for themselves, Demir Bird, and making plays, and that's what you want to see from a coaching standpoint. And when you have those guys like Alden Tate and Geronimo Madison who really haven't done anything from a game
Right.
standpoint, that's where you start to look because that
Mhm.
wide receiver room is deep, T.
Yes, it is.
And
It is.
Mr. Bernhardt as well. Mr.
Yes.
Mr. Bernhardt is definitely making, he got all the fans because know why he got all the fans. We'll talk about that later. But but I think that when you have all those guys making those plays in the same room as them,
Mhm.
and these guys are veterans and on cheap deals, more than likely 1 year deals. Hey, that's how the ball rolls sometimes, T.
Yeah, and that was the concern that I shared as well in terms of depth. I was
Yes.
really, yeah, I was wondering if Geronimo Allison or anybody else that was down that depth chart was actually going to show up and save
Mm-hmm.
themselves. So, like you, wouldn't be surprised if he's a guy where they say thanks, but no thanks. But yes, Jared Bernhardt continues to be on the other side, the good side of saying, hey, I am not trying to get
I
a big
belong.
exactly. I belong here and I'm going to continue to make the case for myself. Now, what we're not sure actually belongs is another addition to the rap game in the weirdest fashion that you can ever think of. We'll talk about that on the other side and for the culture.